Hello, good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament's weekly broadcast. Today will be a good day and hopefully I'll get the video done in time because last week's I had some trouble with the resolution for some reason. YouTube doesn't really convert as well if you upload the video in the nick of time, and that is a bit of a shame, so I'll try and do better this time, but I must confess that my broadcasting slot where I actually record the video is very near the deadline, and I do apologize, and hopefully this time it will be better. So today we're starting out with a well, I needed a bit of a warm-up because I had some talking points, and what better warm-up could you have than Ice Labs versus GaN BOT? And who doesn't know Ice? It's one of the older bots, but it's still pretty good. It was rocking the boat up until 2014, I believe, where it was really uncontested #1, or 2013, I must say. It was so very good, no one could really touch it, and it has some interesting features. It was one of the first bots to start out with taking the natural like this, with a bunker, and it's also the first bot that uses high ground versus low ground considerations, which will result in a bit of a oh dear, that's brilliantly timed. Will result in a handful of siege tanks being posted over here, as we'll see later, perhaps, or probably, or I don't know, the game is not yet on. And GaN is going for what it always does. It will take all the bases in the map, on the map, if it is left to do so unhindered. And then every time a unit pops, it will attack the nearest thing it sees. So, for example, if a unit is exiting from the main base, it will see, well, this SUV over here, oh, this one obviously didn't, and will try and kill it. And if a unit spawns over here, it will just move to the main starting location of the enemy, and will move over here, so through this side. And if the base is taken over here, the units will move out like thus and enter the base by this route. And you can see it's rather inefficient. Ice is not breaking a sweat, just preparing and making a lot of workers. And there you go. So, oh, here comes the siege tank, always a good sound. And now the oh, they're going for the siege tanks, and they're going at it, and the tank will just live. Or was it the SUV? I still don't have a kill counter, but that was a very tight hold by GaN, as the bot's called GaN BOT after the surrogate. And you can see over here that lots and lots of bases are being taken. The next base is already up for grabs, and if this counter somehow reaches 300, that base will be taken, and there we... oh no, something else got priority over that. So there you go. So now the game's up and running, and some units are being killed all the time. I would like to apologize to a number of people who have been who've taken offense at some things I've said. On occasion, I say that these bots do stupid things, and by that I don't really mean that I don't know how hard it is to program a good AI. It is a tremendous effort, and I myself don't have a bot. I can't even code HTML, so I'm full of awe of everyone who is making an AI as complex, or only 100 as complex as one of these bots playing. And if I on occasion curse a bot for doing something stupid, it is more out of enthusiasm than out of real ire, or I don't really despise these bots. I think they are brilliant. I've been doing this forever, so for 4 years, more than 4 years now, almost 5. And well, if I have offended anyone, sorry, and keep up the good work. Even if these bots will not achieve world domination in the next couple of years, I still think they are pretty wonderful, as is anyone involved in the construction and maintenance of them. So, I wanted to have that out of the way because that was pretty important. I like to make these videos as a bit of a come together end of the week, so everyone can just hang out and chill on stream. And well, it would be a shame if this misunderstanding were to continue. So, as we can see, GaN has taken a lot of bases in the meanwhile. Worker count is still pretty low at not even... oh, we just hit 40. Thank you, GaN, for proving me wrong. And Ice has now set up shop in the natural. Some damaged buildings. and the third and the fourth is constructing as we speak. Now GaN is totally rocking the boat. It's all over the place. There are only three bases not yet taken, and Ice has a formidable army. It's got 50 versus 13.5, and you can see that these SCVs have been under attack. Ice is defending, but every once in a while an SCV does sneak in, and SCVs get damaged, but the SCVs defend themselves. So all in all, not too much happening. Oh, nice blast of friendly fire. But you can see, while Ice is spreading over a larger territory, its units and bases are being harassed from all sides. And this Goliath has found an enemy base and is now doing a lot of damage. There is no defense from the part of GaN, and that's a bit of a shame. Oh, where did the Goliath go? Perhaps it went off because Ice is pushing with a couple of siege tanks and Goliaths and Marines. No medics. That could be a little bit better. There is one sunken though, but a lot of tech as well, and you will see that the prioritization of IceBot is not all that great. The Spore is taking a lot of fire, and these Marines, they all die to one sunken, and then we've got 4 Goliaths, and the tanks are still unsieging in the middle of the map, because every once in a while there comes a wild pair of Zergons running in, or a Hydra from somewhere. And now the Sunken has dispatched with all of these Goliaths as well, and now there is a Guardian, so these tanks are really suffering because of that. And that was a brilliantly spawned Broodling right on top of that tank. And that can be pretty hard for Ice to deal with, because you can see, oh, the Guardian now lets go of the tank, and the tank kills something. But here comes some Zerglings, and the Zerglings mop it up. So, pretty well done. Nice hold by GaN. Now, Ice still has got a way larger army, but the army is all over here in full defense mode, and because of all of these unfinished buildings, it's sort of blocked inside of the base, and that's not good, as there is an Ultra, right inside of the base, and it got killed by all the SCVs, which is good. So this base is being attacked by one Hydra, and this building and this Goliath are being attacked by a Hydra over there. Upgrade-wise, GaN has only the most rudimentary upgrades, but because of this distributed kind of attacking, it's doing pretty well. You can see this base, the mining time is pretty much lost, and Ice hasn't really got the armor upgrades for infantry. So these SCVs take a relatively large amount of damage from these unupgraded Zerglings. Now, base mining over there, 3 bases, but the real problem is all these units being stuck. Anything stuck in the main base, or in the natural, except for small units as SCVs and Marines, and there is a Lurker burrowed over here. So now you can see where this is going to lead. Ice still can reach the enemy base, but there is a Sunken and a Lurker, and this tank with the Matrix is doing pretty damn well. And now the scan goes off, but this will be close, and the Lurker just beats it within a hair of its life. And now we have a dropship. And the Lurker immediately gets down, and there appears not to be a scan available anymore, so this Lurker is doing pretty well. And these Goliaths are targeting eggs, and have 3 Hydras come, and the scan goes off. Oh dear, and an Ultra again. That is so pro. And Ice's army, although it's 4 times bigger and the combat value is 5 times higher than that of GaN, is stuck in the main base. There is a Guardian overhead, virtually shutting down all mining over here. Goliaths are doing what they can, but in the meanwhile, this base has been completely populated by 1 Guardian and a handful of Zerglings. So, what can you do if you are Ice? Is anything happening over here? No, I didn't see where that dropship went. And now an Ultra. The Ultra is actually taking a lot of damage from these SCVs. The SCVs are so ferocious. But all in all, a lot of SCVs die as well, and with some Zerglings coming overhead and a Guardian, this base doesn't look as happy as it could be, and the worker transfer from the natural, which is for all intents and purposes mined out, is not going to work. 4th base hammered into the ground. Some small incursion by 3 Goliaths over here, and we've got 2 over there, but you can see where this is going. Absolutely nowhere. 1 Brutally coming up, and this... oh, that was pretty cute. I didn't know that non-projectile units could do that, but apparently they can. So now the Hydra and the Sunken cleared that base up, and now GaN is in full control of the game. This is the last expeditionary force of IceBot. This Hydra will fall, but the tank will be badly damaged, and Ice isn't really bringing in the money anymore. And this tank is in a oh, there it went. So, some mining was going on, or no, that was really the last bit of it. Where is Ice? Oh, Ice got this base still. But you can see the world of Ice Lab getting smaller and smaller. And although these small pokes are doing a lot of damage, because GaN is just not very good at defending itself, in the end, these units will struggle and die. If only because every base has got a sunken and a spore. So there you go, that was the last push of ice, I believe. Oh no, here comes another set of marines. Oh, GaN broke down the wall. So there is a large army of about 100 supply rocking up over the map. And that may pose a little bit of a problem, because although ice hasn't really got any workers left, and hasn't got any income left. Oh dear, look at 2, 3 of these links go, and now GaN has got all the upgrades, and they are doing so much damage. The main is hammered into the ground, the mineral only is taken just for good measure, and although Ice's army, oh dear, this base taken as well, Ice's army is formidable, it will be worn, ground down, I must say, because it's really one Ling and a Hydra at a time. The main base is completely gone. There are Guardians, Ultras, and that was the base. And where is the last building? Oh, it's over here. It's this depot. And now GaN has taken all of the bases except those. Oh, not even missing that mined out base. So GaN taking the victory, and my talking point being over, let's now look at the rankings, because we had a lot of upgrades. Lucas, Moravec, Banana Brain, Crazio is back in action, and that will show, as we'll see later. We got a new bot, Simplicity, welcome, and we have a couple of games of that as well. Halpan got an upgrade, Eggbert, Toothpick set, Eric Hammer, but that's a little bit older, as you can see by the upgrade date. So really basically, Halpan, Simplicity, Crazio, Banana Brain, Lucas, Moravec, and that makes for a very interesting situation near the top. Because Locutus is still the #1, but Crazio is biting his ankles, and right behind that is Purple Wave, and we haven't had a #1, 2, 3 setup so close for ages, and Banana Brain is actively updating his bot as well. Iron Bot hanging in there, but being put at a considerable disadvantage. Then Cherry Pie, TSMU Random, Tier Protoss doing very well, but you can see because these 3 slots come so closely together, and we've got this Banana Brain, Iron Bot, Cherry Pie, well really only Banana Brain, Iron Bot. The rest of the field really gets leveled. You've got so many good, oh dear, shut up, don't reset the order again. You've got so many good bots here, TSMU, Tier Protoss, or Chris Codes, Killerbot, B-Reaver in 10th place, but it's still the 10th place. It's all 56, 53, 49, 46, 44, and that's TSMU. And then Xim, TSMU again, Willybot, Azor, and only then, and you've got Eric Hammer still, and Eric Hammer is a fantastic piece of machinery, and wow, Ice Labs really paying the price at this moment. TSMU, Zerg, and there are so many good bots even here, Sparks, the MadNiks, Nightcat, GaN BOT over here, McGrave, Zerg. There are so many good bots all over the place, but for now we'll focus on the killing zone, which is the top 3 or 5, and let's hop into the next game, because as I've been blathering, many good games are waiting. So, what have we here? We've got Toothpick Cactus versus Starcrusher. Starcrusher playing Protoss, let's see how it's going to unfold. Opening with a Forge first, couple of cannons, and Toothpick Cactus going into 001 army and then a quick factory. But of course that is not going to work with this SimCity, which is absolutely brilliant, and the Starcrusher isn't a very advanced bot, but the SimCity is pretty good. So here we go, handful of vultures, behind that main, the natural expansion. So Toothpick Cactus really setting up shop, going for a lot of tech at the same time at the cost of a very good army. The Zealots don't stand a chance really, because these... Ooh, the micro could be a bit better, but Toothpick Cactus, is pretty much on point. A couple of vultures died, but this one's got things well under control, and a couple of marines coming in for some extra shots for good measure. So behind that, Toothpick is really building a lot of tech, and you can see the army size is absolutely puny. There is so much tech, and there is hardly any army, and that might be one of its flaws. And StarCrusher really, wow, this is nigh impossible to break with gateway units, I'd say. But of course, no gateway units. We got factory units, among them the renowned siege tank. So if you look at the upgrades, siege mode, mines, and then some vulture speed, nothing overly techy, but still a lot of high-tech buildings in a relatively short time. Third base up and running. Natural being started by StarCrusher. Yep, there we go. And the probe over here just doing stuff, hanging out, and there we go. That's a really strange... That's a lot of tech for StarCrusher as well, and StarCrusher hasn't got the greatest army either. So now Toothpick Cactus with a weird, unconventional, I should say, army composition, moving out on the map and then rolling off in all directions. There is a medic, and with the marines, if you add a handful of medics, these marines can do quite a little bit of damage, especially in a hybrid army. They can buffer so much, and now StarCrusher is under attack, and StarCrusher's only got 2 army supply and not building anything, so that's pretty weird. StarCrusher building a lot of upgrades right now, but with only 2 army, that is not going to work, and here comes the contain of Toothpick. Toothpick really not believing in building all the eggs or buildings in one basket, I say. Main base is building some factories and depots all over the place, and not really taking on a base, and really being very cautious with bringing down the hammer on StarCrusher. StarCrusher though is still investing in infrastructure and only building 1 zealot, 1... No, this is not going to work, obviously, because there is a large, almost 75 army supply Terran at your door, and whereas that gateway army couldn't bust this tank army does pretty well. Lots of upgrades for both players, but StarCrusher is taking way too heavily, and oh dear, lots of buildings all over the place. It's pretty well done, and don't want to be contained. And I like this grouping of 4, this 4-6 depot kind of stuff. That's really impressive. It's a nice way to keep your base uncluttered and build a lot of supply. And here comes another one. So GG. Then we have Eggbert versus Banana Brain, and Banana Brain had an upgrade, and I thought, well, I'd start him out versus Eggbert. Eggbert is still waiting for the master stroke, but perhaps this time it will work. And I must commend it for playing such a lot of bio. Bio can be so powerful in the hands of an AI, because you've got this almost unlimited amount of APM, and well microed bio armies should in theory be able to do a hell of a lot of damage. And there you go, marines upon marines upon marines. There is an academy, and there are medics as well, and the academy is flashing what's it building, stim and range. So there we go, nice concave, natural taken. Banana Brain, oh sorry, moving out with 4 goons and a shuttle with something in it. There is tech not for a Reaver, I believe, but there is a lot coming, so perhaps that may be done next day. Ooh, a couple of Dark Templars, but there is a scan, and with so much firepower on the hands of the Marines, that was a nice poking attack with 4 goons and a shuttle full of Dark Templars, but Eggbert shut it down pretty decisively. And even with a turret on the high ground, and there ought to be a bunker with a turret here as well, because scans, they run out, and it's good to have just a couple of turrets, and also in the main base, because had that shuttle flown over here, there would have been nothing left, and 4 Dark Templar kill a comsat so fast. And now Banana Brain is being questioned, as there is a lot of bio coming, and there is, oh well, an observer, but the infantry of Banana Brain isn't all that powerful, and you can see this Dark Templar is running right out of range, but by now there are 2 comsats, 1 over there, and you'll need a hell of a lot of micro to sustain yourself in a battle like this. The shuttle had better move out of the way, but is compelled to stay and is paying the price. Now Banana Brain is in a world of trouble because there is no army. There is no army at all, and although it's producing a lot, it's still building a lot of probes, and the probes are dying by the bucket load. Meanwhile, Observer over here is falling as well. Eggbert holding the Dark Templar ploy and then smashing it down with a nice stim bio army. And for a Terran, it's very accessible to play bio because you just need barracks and an academy, stim and range, and then make upgrades and keep your army together, and they will produce a lot of DPS, and it is a wonder to behold. So Eggbert, not really overdoing it at this point, could build a lot more Marines. I don't know why it's not doing so, but as you can see with its 44 army in the main base of Banana Brain has tagged way too hard, hasn't got a unit in the world, and is now watching the destruction of its own base and still trying to reinforce the natural, trying to help out the main base, while you should just run like hell to the other end of the map, try to restart things here. But I really doubt that Eggbert is going to give it a chance. And there you go. This is not a safe place for Banana Brain anymore. And Eggbert is, well, occupying the main base for reasons. And Banana Brain is trying to... Well, you've got an observer over there. You can see what's going on. So this doesn't really work at this point. Banana Brain, oh, finally restarting over here. And Eggbert has sort of registered that the main base of Banana Brain is dead, has taken a lot of bases, and now you've got 4 comsats, and you can try and find the enemy base. Banana Brain is restarting though, and once you get either Storm or a couple of Reavers, this bio army is going to be not the most optimal weapon you've got to try and do something about that. That said, it's going to take Banana Brain a lot of time off one base. And there you go, what's that going to be? Or is the game going to time out? It's going to be... oh, there is the bio ball. Hello, says 135 supply worth of Marines, Medics and Science versus 140. There is such a lot of damage in that punch. And Banana Brain gets hammered. Well done, Eggbert. Now, Eric Hammer versus Dave Churchill, and this was a recommendation, and normally I don't get many recommendations of Dave Churchill. Dave Churchill is the author, the father of University of Alberta bot, which was in turn the stepping stone for the starting point for Steamhammer, and Steamhammer has so many offspring, it's really hard to tell. It's between them, I think that perhaps half of the bots on our ladder are using either University of Alberta bot or Steamhammer as a starting point. And one of the things which is very characteristic of University of Alberta is that combat simulator. It's got little memory retention, so these units, they tend to move in and out all the time, and you can see them moving in, out, it's really interesting. And now these Zerglings, they can do a lot of damage. Eric Hammer with the natural occupied has started over here a base, so that will be cool. And Dave Churchill wasn't really concerned about winning games, but more with the future of AI in general, so it was much more important to him, and still is, to have a bot which others can use than to win tournaments himself. So, there we go. Eric Hammer is feeling the heat, and as a responsive measure is building a lot of Sunkens, which is good because as of yet there are no medics and there is no gas. So I think that Sunkens versus Pure Marine can do a world of good. Now this base over here is nicely populated, and although there are a couple of Hydras, the Hydras and the Zergs now run straight past the main army, and Dave Churchill is really without an army in this part of the world. So now Eric Hammer is coming back, and Churchill is fighting for its life. University of Alberta bot on the back foot, but these Marines in a nice concave can do quite well, and especially if the enemy is only throwing Zerglings and Hydras at it. So the grouping of University of Alberta is already quite advanced, and Eric Hammer is chased back to its base once more. So, drone count is okay. Eric Hammer could take the entire map by now because Churchill is taking a bit. But the University of Alberta bot is also not really the most aggressive. Could build a lot more Marines and could just keep this stuff flashing all the time. You get a bit of an Eggbert-ish experience, just a lot of units all over the place. Now Eric Hammer taking another one and a fourth. Tech-wise, we've got Lurker versus Lurker and Hydra Speed, but no, oh, here are the Lurkers. That is really a bit of a messy situation for University of Alberta bot, because there are no scanners, there are no turrets, there are no comsats, and these Lurkers are going to wreak havoc with the entire base. And even the Hydras now are there in sufficient numbers to kill all the Marines which exit from these bases, and more units are being streamed in. University of Alberta with a hidden base over there, but I doubt in the sight of what's going on in this main base that it's going to do it any good. Now Eric Hammer is going to tech, finally. This is a Queen's Nest, maybe morphing a Hive, but I think that we are not really going to see any Hive units because this army, although not the biggest, is tearing down University of Alberta's spot in a record speed. The Hive is there, and is this going to be an Ultra Cavern, perhaps Small Peak? No, it's going to be a Spire. So Eric Hammer taking out Dave Churchill, good game. And, well, last game we had Banana Brain falling to Eggbert. I thought, well, perhaps it fares better against a better opponent, and we have not got any better opponent than Locutus at this time of year, and you can see, or you will see, why. So, no half measures, just occupying the main base, occupying the ramp so no scout can get in, and then trying to get to grips with the enemy with a small poke. And, oh sorry, I should just rewind this a little bit, because now it will all come down to micro. Locutus has got 2 army supply more. The first goon is getting its shield taken off, and now the units, Banana Brain's got more zealots, so perhaps, oh dear, and here come the Dark Templar. The Dark Templar are in the field, and although Banana Brain is losing army supply, these Dark Templar can do pretty well versus goons if there is no scanner at all. Will there be more? There are only 2 gateways, and Locutus is going for a little bit more gateway heavy play at this moment. Now the question is, how much damage can these goons do before the next wave? Is there going to be a next wave of Dark Templar hit? And there are quite a bit of goons, and the Dark Templar are not as well managed as they could be, because this goon over here is attracting a lot of attention while a lot of workers are laying down their lives because there are more goons in the main. This Dark Templar pops out right on time. Will we have more? No, we'll have some goons. And you can see this reflecting in the worker count shortly, because Banana Brain's losing workers, the army is smaller already, these goons perhaps will die, but then with only 14 workers, still workers are falling, 13, and mining time is lost as well. So although the Dark Templar cleaned it up and there are 2 bases, oh, and here comes a small incursion with 2 goons, and Banana Brain has to rush down the ramp to clean it up, another worker gets killed. And now Locutus has really worked its magic, because it cannot compete with these Dark Templars without a scanner or an observer, and a goon versus goon micro battle is unfair if one party has got 3 Dark Templars. That must be said in Locutus' advantage. So, worker-wise, Locutus now ahead and has got a scanner, is a little bit adaptive. Is there an observer? No, there is no observer yet, and that's strange, because once you see Dark Templars, observers should be the #1 priority, or else a cannon at the entrance of the natural, preferably. So you, by now, you could have just marched 3 or 4 Dark Templars in here and taken out these cannons, but the game would be over. So the goons are doing a lot of damage, and these Dark Templar are trying to kill them and being quite successful at it. Banana Brain is recuperating with the 2 versus 1 base situation. Let's look at the upgrades. Both of them got range and not much else. So Banana Brain sitting back on a stack of Dark Templar, and will we have? Yes, we will have an observer. So that will be to the benefit of Locutus. Locutus now starting the natural as well, and I feel that Banana Brain had this window where it could do very well. And now slowly but surely, oh, this is not the right decision. Throwing away Dark Templars and at least kill the natural, yes, that's good. And as a response, Banana Brain should take a third, and just to try and out-macro Locutus at this point. Locutus immediately restarting. Banana Brain's got the worker lead by now, and the armies are about equal. And the tech advantage is indubitably in the hands of Banana Brain. So Banana Brain really doing well on the back of those Templar, but what is needed now is a third base and a lot of goons, and try to win some engagements, because Locutus' micro is so good, and Locutus now on the high ground, Banana on the low ground with the observer overhead, and you can see Banana Brain just losing a lot of units, and Locutus doesn't seem to lose anything. That's brilliant. Let's look at that again at normal speed. First, there are only 2 goons, and then 3 in the rear. They catch up. The Zealot gets cancelled, and this high ground maneuver of Locutus is so beautiful. So many shots of Banana Brains are missing, and now these 5 damaged goons versus 5 full health goons are coming back. The damaged goons at the rear. Locutus brings 1 more. Banana Brain is having problems with the reinforcements, and now, although Locutus is losing some units as well, where this was a fairly even battle at the start, at the end it is a hammer fest, and Locutus is holding the hammer. There you go, and even taking care of the observer. That is so well done. Banana Brain really not as on point as Locutus. Locutus now with an expansion of its own, and really Banana Brain could have taken a third. This setup is not going to hold these goons, I fear, and any units coming out, oh, here comes the evacuation of all the workers, and workers being ferried back. Banana Brain is crumbling under the pressure, workers standing still, being transferred from A to B and from B to A, while Locutus is entering the main base, and Locutus is recuperating from that Dark Templar strategy most brilliantly. There were cannons in the main, so the main was pretty much safe worker-wise, and then this godly micro of these goons is really putting the hurt where Banana Brain cannot sustain it. So there you go, Locutus with another base, immediately setting up shop with two cannons, and that is how it's done. And another base, so Locutus will take any breathing space it's got to make take a couple of bases, make some units, but never forget to make units. And Banana Brain leaves the game, and Locutus takes it. So there you go. Now the new bot Simplicity here facing Lucas Moravec, and Lucas is going to have to see what is in store for it, because no one's ever seen a game of Simplicity yet. And let's see what's happening. Starting with an 11 hatch with a pool, and stopping the enemy scout. That's pretty well done. Moravec going for a quick expansion as well, and opting for an eco-heavy starter. Now, worker-wise, Simplicity at 9. That's not really a lot, but has some army supply, and that's good because it helps you chase away those pesky zealots. Now, Lucas is going for more workers, and you can see the worker disparity is pretty big, and that's even disregarding the workers that Simplicity will have to sacrifice to build buildings. So there we go. Mineral mining is okay. This incursion versus about an equal number of zealots wasn't the wisest. And now the units are stuck in the middle of the map. There is going to be a sunken, lots of zerglings, really weirdly grouped. I don't think that Lucas can break it yet, but in the long run you can see that Lucas got double the amount of workers that Simplicity has, and although Simplicity is now making links of 3 bases with only 15 workers, it's not really going to work, is it? Although Lucas Moravec's micro is totally not on point. The units are on move command, and Simplicity is doing a lot of damage. And again, a Zealot will get caught. Is there speed? There is no speed yet, only Goon raising the upgrade in a land of upgrades, both parties. And Lucas is throwing away a lot of units, and that cannot be good ever. Now reaching the natural, they are fighting, the workers coming off the line. That's good. Simplicity though is only slowly getting better and bigger. And the Goon just lives, the lucky bastard. And Simplicity is doing another round of Lings, and now with some Hydras. Have we gotten the upgrades? No, we haven't. So let's see how this is going to unfold. Still, the worker disparity is about 2 to 1. And still, Lucas is losing a lot of units because there's a remove command and they've got a very small size in which the combat simulator calculates the army values, but now seems to have won a decisive victory, although there are now 3 Sunkens. And Simplicity, it's really not all that complicated, but it's doing things pretty well. It's building defense, it's building an army, and it can dish out the damage. But now here comes the Protoss army, and perhaps that Lucas Moravec was a little bit too big of a proper for it to handle, although Lucas is throwing away units again. That is really not going to work, and that is with these Sunkens. If those Sunkens had been in a line, Lucas would have taken so much more damage. Now with a 3rd base, and finally the Zerglings are finding the courage to clean up the enemy base, and even with some tech on the part of Simplicity. So Simplicity is starting out rather well, although Lucas Moravec is a little bit too big of a first game. So, next game up, it's Pineapple Cactus versus Halpan, and I'd like to see how Halpan is doing. I've got to speed up the game just a tiny little notch, because there are some pretty good games coming up, and which might, depending on, well, there are with the top 3, so they are going to take a lot of attention, and rightly so, because the level of play in the top 3, 4, 5 is so high at this moment. It is really a pleasure to watch all these games and a pleasure to be able to cast them as well. So Cactus is going for a mild Ling contain, while Halpan is building 2 bunkers, being pretty safe, and Cactus is not really... You could take more bases right now. You could take more bases, build more units, and this Hydra Ling thing... Oh, going for a lurker push, that's good. Here comes a turret, however, and will we have... Oh, here comes the Academy. So Halpan will be pretty safe, although there are quite a number of lurkers, and with only Marines to stop them, and quite a little bit of Lings to help and do damage. 3rd base now taken by Cactus, and Cactus is really setting up intelligently for the next stage of the game, and Halpan is building a lot of barracks, and are really... Versus Lurkers, I'd say, well, Firebat is a nice addition. You usually miss that versus TVZ, where players are going bio. Firebats can do so well, especially stim them with a couple of upgrades versus the Zerglings. But that is... No, you can't take this base anymore because it's already taken. Cactus is maneuvering in and out of range. The turret is so low, the SCVs barely reach it, and now it gets taken down. There are comstats, however, and these 2 lurkers will not prevail. We've got 1 left, and with a handful of... Oh dear, that's a really tiny army, but for the time being, Halpan's contained, and that leaves Pineapple Cactus with the entire world to bustle in. Now, worker-wise, Halpan is doing great. 50, it's good for 2 bases. More, I wouldn't recommend it at this point, but with an SCV out there, you could take another base, and then it would be of an advantage to be able to transfer. Now, a lot of stimming and micros going on. Halpan slapping 14, 15, 16, 20k APM around, and with a handful of raids, but they are not cloaked, and they fall to a couple of Hydras. So you can see Halpan really exploding in a frenzy of activity, and Cactus not really being able to do much about this, just containing the enemy with 1 lurker. And now it is falling, and Halpan has now got a great army. 4 bases for Pineapple, but Pineapple is going to need an army really quick, and a good one at that, because this army of Halpans is surely bound to reach the 100 supply mark anytime soon. and then the hammer will fall. And once this hammer falls, you need a pretty tough anvil to hold it. But here comes Cactus, and Halpan is struggling because the units are all... The grouping could be better. And you will see units dying left and right, occasionally to a lurker which is not given priority to scan and is doing a lot of damage. And a couple of Goliaths in the rear, just everything is taking damage. The Wraiths are okay, but still this one lurker is doing a lot of damage. The scan goes off, but the Goliath then retreats. And you can see that this army of Halpans not getting any bigger, but there is a third base up now. So, oh, this got shut down by a couple of vultures. Pineapple is getting into macro mode. There are overlords all over the place, and especially in places where there is a spider mine occupying a base. And Halpan has now taken middle of the map, and Pineapple is struggling because this army of Halpans is so great, and although it hasn't got the ferocity of Iron Bot, behind that there is so much production, as can be demonstrated here. Well, not right now at the moment, actually. Cactus is really lacking hatcheries at this point. It's got so much money, and even if you build a lot of Zerglings, they could do so well, especially with this kind of wacky, all over the place, brawling going on. And that might be a tip, just build some extra hatcheries. You've got the map space, and here comes another hatchery, but that's a little bit too late. And you can see with this nice drone count, you've got to be able to spend your money. Oh, science vessel checking everything out, that's good. But the contain is slowly but steadily approaching the natural, and it's still 100 versus only 15 army supply. With all the medics and with all the tanks, Halpan is in a good position to do a lot of damage. And Pineapple really struggling at this point. The workers here killed all of them, and the natural is now completely cut off from the rest of the world. And these muters, I keep saying it, are not the best in engaging Marines with medics head on. So the artillery is being brought along, set up, and shot in on these poor hapless sunken colonies. And once they're gone, here comes the infantry, and that is a lot of damage. That's 140 hybrid Terran army, and Zerg hasn't got a thing in the world. A couple of vultures are playing tag with the stragglers, the last bits of the army, and that is a beautiful setup in another main base. That is not being... you won't get cut off if this base gets contained. You've got some production elsewhere, and that, well, that's pretty well done by Halpan. So Halpan doing pretty well with a large army, and I say this must surely be the game right now. Unit composition wise, there is a lot of stuff: fire bats, medics, dropships, science vessels, 8 wraiths, that's a lot, 8 tanks, Goliaths, vultures, ghosts, and marines. Ghosts would be cute in TVZ, and are there nuclear silos? That would be good, but doesn't look like it, and that was the game. So no, we've got 2 more games, and then we'll start brawling with the big guns. And we've got Simplicity again, and I thought, well, perhaps MadNiks is a good opponent for it. Again, we see the play with a lot of Zerglings, and the Overlords are playing a game of butt, the head, and the rear. Oh, and another one's coming, so they all try to congregate at exactly this position. And the Zerglings run out, smash the Zerglings from the porch, the Marines from the porch, I must say, and then do quite a bit of damage. A couple of SCVs killed, building killed, Marines killed, and that surely cannot be good for MadNiks. And although the link thing doesn't get reinforced, and more Marines make their way over, I'd say that's a pretty decent win for Simplicity at this point. So Simplicity, upgrade-wise, no Ling speed yet, and MadNiks going for more Marines, which is good up to a point. And I think that point has now been passed, because these Marines without technology, oh, here comes the technology, will struggle. Now, Simplicity has got a lot of Lings, and once you've got a lot of Lings, you'd better do something with them, because as Terrans tech up, Lings will lose their relative combat value very, very quickly. and that's a lot of sunken. So either take a third base or attack, try to harass. Now we've got a bunker, we've got a medic, and at this point the battles are going to get really wacky. And oh, this fire bat doing such a lot of damage. The lings get a contain off and the medics are straggling, and that means that these lings can fight somewhat effectively. They prioritize the medics, that's good. And the combat micro of MadNiks isn't the best. Now these Zerglings are running over here for reasons. Oh, I think they're going to escort this drone over here and at the same time blocking the path for the hatch. And there you go. So this army of MadNiks with, I think, stim and range is going to wreak havoc with the lings, but there are so many lings, and we saw earlier that the micro of MadNiks is not that good. So Firebat getting cut down, but these Firebats really laying down the law. All the lings evaporate, the medics and the Firebats, and there you go. You can't really stay on pure Zergling for too long. You've got to upgrade, and well, you've got Hydra speed, so that's good. And 3 bases, no, not a 4th. And I like how this simplicity is scouting out bases with Zerglings in case there is a mine burrow there. It's always nice to have a ling visit there first. So now the Hydras, but the Hydras are in relatively small numbers, and by now the Marines and the medics, they have a little bit more heart and they believe they can take this fight head on. And there they go. So here we go, some Hydras coming in from the rear, the Sunken from the front, doing a lot of damage, some links coming in, but all in all, this bio army is just too potent. And as a Zerg, you've got to have a good build order, a good unit composition, and good micro to stop a bio thing like that. So here goes another win, or another loss for simplicity. We didn't see MadNiks earlier. And MadNiks just building a lot of stuff all over the place, lots of Firebats, and I think, oh look at this is brilliant, so many barracks. I think that MadNiks is the only bot which actively makes Firebats in a response to seeing lots of Zerglings, because there's a hell of a lot of Firebats. So penultimate normal game before we are going to get really wild, and the last normal game is Zer versus McGrave Zerg. And I thought, well, I can show all the new bots and the top guns, but I also ought to show what's happening in the middle of the pack, and it's good to be reminded of all the hard work that these bots have cost and all the beautiful things they can still do. Zer starting out with a 1-2 sunken, and McGrave is trying to pester with a handful of Zerglings, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But McGrave, on the back of that, is expanding, so that's pretty well done. This, though, is going to be, looks like going to be a very quick spire. Where is the spire going to be? And McGrave is lounging about in the range of these Sunkens. That's not good, and here comes the spire. So once this spire is done, McGrave will have to either build an Evo chamber, but instead is building a hell of a lot of lings, and that's okay, because with 2 versus 1 hatches you can overpower your enemy and build a lot of lings and just overrun it, but you've got to commit, because these lings, once again, like in that Zerg versus Terran earlier, are losing their combat value at record speed. These 6 Zerglings of Zer are just going to sit there all the time, and with only 1 hatchery, or albeit a lair, Zer will now be able to make muters, and these Zerglings haven't got shit on muters. McGrave is droning up a little bit. What's it building? Yeah, well, building more Zerglings, that's good. And here come the muters. So these lings will have to head back home right at a trot, and then you've got to build something which can do something about that. Muters, that is not coming. I fear it is too late. The muters leave the lings alone. They're going for the drones, and then for the defensive structures. Drone being transferred, that's not the wisest transfer. And there you go. No Evo chamber, no Hydra Den, nothing. And Zer is now going for another hatchery, building the occasional muter more, and although there are a lot of lings running about, that's just not working at this moment. So all the lings should be sent on a base trade mission right now, or right yesterday, but there are 3 full Sunkens, and these Zerglings, they haven't got the heart again, and although the main base and the natural are completely wasted, there is no worker left. There is a lot of money, so in theory McGrave could restart, but I think that this is going to be a victory for our friendly neighborhood Zerg called Zer. So, there we go, another hatchery, and now Zer is changing up the style, going for a lot of Zerglings as well. McGrave, what's he building? Nothing anymore, seems to have gone catatonic. And of course, there you go. So, there we go, the last stage of the game, and the number 1 versus the number 2, just slap it in, it's Locutus versus Crazio. Crazio has found a little time to get back into the game, actively updating his bot, and the Hand of the Master was already shown last week, and let's see how it's going to play out now. I've got I've got 2 of these games, really. One is a recommendation, the other is not. I don't know which is which, but it cannot hurt to have 2 times Locutus versus Crazio. So, Crazio with a wall is not going to be run by again, and the scouting thing is shut down as well. Locutus is going for a ranged goon thing, looks like, and Crazio is going for a... I don't know what it's going for a lot of thingies, SCVs, and then for a, must be a factory surely. Yes, there it is, a factory. So these goons are not oh, this might be pretty dangerous, out of range of the bunker, and now are taking on the bunker head on, and that might not be the best decision because, oh, here they come running by, and oh, Crazio, what are you doing again? You had this beautiful wall and you screwed it up. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm sorry for being, if that sounds harsh, but that was just where the wall was for, and some small teething problems. Crazio with the fast siege tank, and the tank with 1-2 shots clean it up. Lots of mining time lost. The SCVs all repair one another. It's one big group hug going on in the mineral line of Crazio's, and now Crazio's got a tank on the high ground and a bunker and some stray marines, so should be okay. Locutus though has got the natural, and Crazio has been put at a disadvantage, I would say, but now with 2 factories in a better position. Now with turrets as well, and these goons, this tank is so well positioned. I don't know if that's intentional, but it does command a piece of this gap, and it can also kill any goon running in through here. This is a bit of a... well, that's next level running by stuff, and that is Crazio really setting up shop now, and these goons with 2-3 siege tanks, they cannot work. And is Crazio actually able to command the high ground like Icebot does? That would really be an achievement. That is not easy to do. In nearly 10 years of brute war AI development, there is only one bot who has ever done it, and that is not by lack of talent on the coders parts, let me tell you that. That is a hard thing to do. And now the goons come in, but the mines, ooh, they just retreated when they saw the mines, and these tanks on the high ground really doing the damage. And Crazio immediately plopping down a turret, that's good. And that might be a next level thing. Just as a Terran, you've got the opportunity to build a couple of buildings here. Yes, there we go. Is it going to be a bunker? Or a depot? Is going to be a bunker, but with bunker, depot, bunker, then you've got or a couple of depots. You just narrow down the choke, and with a couple of tanks behind that, they increase their effectiveness even more. And Locutus has now got to come up with a plan. Oh, this vulture is doing great. The turrets, the cannons weren't up, and Crazio has got a vulture at both bases, which will result in some significant worker loss, probably. And now Locutus is being asked the question, what are you going to do next, Locutus? Because you've been on top for so long, but now Crazio is no longer being run by, not being fooled by a 2-gate or some kind of proxy. Crazio has got a lot of tanks, has got 2 bases, and your own bases are being shut down by vultures. And this goon is... well, it's chasing away this vulture. This vulture had better keep its head down for a little bit. And now this vulture, can it shut down a warping in cannon? Yes, it can. So although Locutus has got a huge army and Crazio hasn't, Crazio, this is a hard base to defend. That's really not easy. This base might be a little bit better with the high ground, couple of buildings, couple of tanks, mines. And Locutus is going for it. It's going for it, and there is a mine! Oh, and it does a ton of damage. Crazio with a factory. I don't think that's intentional. That's just running, or perhaps I don't know if that's intentional, or just thinking this is a good place for the factory. Crazio, you can hear the tanks, and this is what a hornet's nest must sound like if you are to stick your hand in it. You're standing before the hornet's nest and you'll hear it buzzing, and there are so many buzzing voices. That's the sound of these sieging tanks. That must be so frightening as a gateway army, but the gateway army is big, and here it comes again, going for another try. The mines pop, and damage is being done. Locutus, oh, the mines are really Crazio sitting as happy as a clam in his shell. This base completely unhindered. We've got 2 goons on the prowl, but there are mines everywhere, and it's only to be hoped for Crazio that this base will not be found. First mine hits, and you should just hope with a couple of more mines. Yes, there it goes. And sorry for being a bit of a Crazio, taking a Crazio perspective. Let's have a look at what Locutus is doing. This base got salvaged. 2 turret cannons thrown up, and here the same thing. So this base is safe as well. 5th base taken. Locutus is setting up shop for an even bigger macro fest, and Crazio, well, needs to defend this 3rd base at least, and preferably this base as well. This is an island base. Would be marvelous if Crazio could take this, because then you'd have to do all kinds of dropship play, and Locutus isn't. Well, Locutus is very adaptive. It can throw large armies around with godly micro. The upgrades are okay, and the macro of Locutus is unequaled by any bot in the game. This is a bit of a googloo. You just shouldn't have a scouting unit on top of your main nexus. It can't see anything, and oh, finally something's being done about it. Well, red, sir. And this must be, I don't know what it is. So Crazio now trying to move in this direction, but Locutus is occupying the high ground, and the tanks are too far in the rear, so Crazio losing a couple of units. Mine is in a good position. If it doesn't get... Ah, no, and now the tanks start blasting, but... Oh, this is so intense. Crazio losing a lot of shielding units. The mines are not in place, but Locutus cannot possibly sustain a tank bombardment like this. This is absolutely marvelous. And I'm going to run out of time again, but I just don't care. Just watch this in low resolution. I don't give a damn. This game is awesome. Locutus is... I need to have units lost. This is so... Locutus is trying to do this with pure macro. There is no advanced technology. Oh, well, there is a Templar Archives. Might go with a couple of Dark Templars. Perhaps a drop. That would be great. And Crazio now lining up the base, taking this base over here. But I feel that with advanced scouting and acting on that information, you could take out this base over here and that base over here at the cost of dealing with a couple of vultures and a handful of mines. All the main army of Crazios is still over here, and although the tank count is impressive, Locutus going for it again, but I can't see it going very well. There are matrix vultures blocking stuff. And tanked with what upgrades now? They've got the +1, no +2 yet for Crazio. That's really rather late, and Crazio ought to build that. And Crazio ought to move out and try and take some map control. The vultures are eventually being shut down by the cannons, and I think that if you had a raid of 3 vultures, you might do something about this indefinitely. But here comes 2 goons and the cannon and the probe, and that is another base saved. So I'd say Crazio is doing good with the harass, and it's only 2 vultures and they did a lot of damage, so I think that's the best damage per vulture or per mineral you can do. And now Crazio's out on the map, on the march, with a matrix science vessel overhead. How cool is that? And the vultures are shielding the tanks perfectly. The SCVs are on point, and Locutus really needs to find a flank or a soft target like an expansion And the expansion's got a bunker in the wrong position, but that can't be helped. It's good as it is with the turret and the tank and the comsat. So that is pretty well done. Now Crazio is rolling with its large 120 supply army and is hammering goons into the ground, is evaporating zealots, and the mines are doing so much. The mines are doing their bit and a bit of friendly fire, but Crazio won't care because although Crazio lost about 20 army supply there, the ground is soaked in blue soup, and it's good that the zealots don't leave any juicy residue because it would be a swamp of gateway units' blood. And now Crazio with the floating buildings, with the science vessels, and once you let Crazio out of the box like that, it's immediately claiming all the bases. Stuff is flying left and right. The production capacity of Crazio is out of this world. It could instantly reproduce about 40 army supply right now, and Locutus hasn't really got an answer. It got Crazio on the back foot with the harass, with the contain, with the run by, but once Crazio starts rolling like this, it is still the uncontested best player in the world right now. It is so good. It is so hard to fight a concerted tank effort like this off. It's just not doable. And Crazio is sort of containing the main base over here and then rolling up a couple of tanks to the expansions over there. That is beautifully shielded, and that makes sure that there is no supporting unit coming in to deal with this relatively small Terran army. Now, had Locutus had a couple of gateways over here, perhaps a robot support bay, robotics bay for some more advanced units, you could have done something about this, about 30-40 supply Terran army. Right now, that's pretty difficult, and once the tanks are rocking up to your expansion and sieging, that is going to be the end of this expansion. There is one over here, but now Crazio has gotten tight command of this natural's choke, or you can just slip something out, but it's going to cost you, and more tanks rock up to the choke. And if we look at Crazio's composition, 25 tanks, vultures, Goliaths, and that's about it. And still, this is a lot of workers. At this point, once you got the bank going, you could sacrifice some workers to make more army. But then again, you ought to be able to trade and replenish your army. So I think Crazio is perfectly balanced. There are factories all over the place. Can we count them? Actually, yeah, well, we could. Main base 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 in the main. 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 factories. I had this feeling the map was covered in factories, but it must be the mines. And these bases shot to pieces completely by these tanks. Now Crazio, Crazio. I'm going to speed it up just a notch because it doesn't look like the Cutest can get out of its mousetrap now. There is still a lot of stuff being produced, but it's not working. And Crazio has found this base. Tanks are rolling up, and this cannon will be the last one. The vultures haven't got the patience, they just run up to it, kill it. Crazio taking more of the map. The map is covered in vultures. A mosquito couldn't move its left rear wing and be undetected, and not that mosquitoes have a pair of wings, but Crazio has got total awareness now and just slapping a couple of thousand APMs on it. Locutus is not able to restart, it looks like. And that's strange. Crazio now with a couple of ghosts as well. Will we see nukes? And that would really be the icing on the cake. But Crazio just playing it safe, building comstats all over the place, and can keep scanning forever, building more bunkers, more turrets. And this is the last base, but look at the monstrosity of the map in Crazio's colors. That was the game. GG. And then I thought, well, let's look at the number 3, because if you've got the ELO rating, you've got Locutus, Crazio, Purple Wave, and let's see how Locutus fares versus Purple Wave. Purple Wave is a monster of its own, in its own right, and this must be the last game because I'm running out of time again, and I'm so sorry. I'll try and do this at an earlier time so the uploads... Oh god, I missed it again. Gas steel being dealt with accordingly. Purple Wave doing okay, and could, well, Locutus could do another gas steal, but right now it's going to be a tug of war between a pair of Zealots and a Probe, and 3 Zealots and a Goon, and I think that Locutus will have this with the Goon. And the Zealots are getting low though, so that's... I think that this Goon... Oh, more Zealots coming up from Purple Wave. And Purple Wave, the Zealot of Locutus was pretty low, and the Goon will fall, but the Zealots, they take a lot of damage, but they kill some probes. So perhaps this might be worth it, and I think you, as a Zealot army, you are not going to, or as a group of Zealots, you're not going to be able to out-micro Goons, and especially not a pair of Goons. So wise decision probably to go for the workers. Worker-wise, Purple Wave 25-19 of Locutus, and Purple Wave's got the expansion, and it's already finished warping. Hello, that's pretty well done, and we've got a cannon, hopefully, and there ought to be a couple of Goons coming in right now, because there are Goons, and the Goons, they try to run by, one of them gets caught, and it takes them some damage. More cannons warping in, but Purple Wave now being put on the back foot, only 2 gateways and 1-2 cannons. The Zealots fighting relatively well, but the cannons are just too weak, they haven't got enough hit points, so Locutus is now dishing out the damage. No natural for Locutus. Locutus banking on its Goons, and the Goons nearly had this natural broken, but then reached a sufficient threshold to start a run-by, where when that was not necessary. Now they retreat, so take a lot of damage. 3rd cannon now up for Purple Wave, and Purple Wave is sort of safe. Double the worker count, natural starters for Locutus. And Locutus Goons can be a deadly force, but that's really the first mistake that I saw Locutus' Goons make in a long time. Because Locutus is so hardwired to do a run-by that once the Goon count reached 4 over here, they tried to sneak by in this base, but there were cannons firing at them and Zealots hammering at them. No, that wasn't really the best idea it could have had. Now the Zealots are in this base again, and with a Goon backup, they can do quite a bit of damage. Locutus coming in with more Goons from the high ground, has got 3-4 gateways, has got observers. So Purple Wave backing off for now. And when did we last have the last upgrade of Purple Wave? Where's the yellow? That was quite a bit of time ago, so might be nice to have another upgrade, because it is so very good. These PvPs are so awesome. And now it's Locutus' turn to fight with help of the cannons, and Banana Brain just can't really move in over there. Has got double the worker count, so at this point really ought not to force the issue, and especially not with a wounded Goon right ahead. Just take a 3rd base, try to get this contain locked down, and you can see the micro of... Locutus is so good with the micro. It's so snappy. Every time a Goon of Purple Waves is moving back, it catches a couple of balls from the army of Locutus. Locutus is just faster, although it's got not even a 1/3 of the APM of Purple Wave. Now Purple Wave coming in with more Goons and taking a 3rd base. That's how you do it. And Locutus really needs, I feel it really needs shuttle play or more advanced tech units, because although the Goon micro is still the best in the world, and Purple Wave throwing away a bit of stuff, I'm not going to say it's stupid, but it has a beautiful position, and it sort of threw it away by bad microing and bad decision making. Now in the middle of the map, I must assume, yes, of course, both players have got range. You can fight this kind of fight indefinitely, but if you've got the enemy over here, just don't run in like a goose step, goose line, bee line, Congo line thing of Goons. You're going to lose them. Just make a nice concave, take more bases, and slap the enemy about with superior numbers later. Now Purple Wave is not to be deterred, is going to try again with a handful of Zealots, but again, the nice concave and the good micro of Locutus is going to win it. Another battle, and another Goon dies for free, and an Observer dies for free. And still Purple Wave keeps trying. Locutus snuck out a probe, that is brilliantly done. Let's look at the upgrades, only leg speed, and no superior technology for Purple Wave either. So I'm going to speed it up just a notch, because Purple Wave is fighting so hard, but the cannons are doing so much damage, and the goons of the Cutest are so very good. Third base nearly done for Purple Wave, but all this time it's been 70 versus 50 workers, and Locutus, well, you've got a good bit of micro, but you need that good bit of micro to just keep up, and that's the Zealot fighting this. Oh, I can't. Fourth base now taken by Purple Wave, and Purple Wave just ought to send 2 Zealots into that new base before there are any cannons and just shut it down, make the contain work, and Bob's your uncle. So, fourth base now for Purple Wave, and Purple Wave, where are... Oh, Purple Wave's going for the Archons, that's good. I had Dan explain to me that these, you've got to do something with your gas. That said, I still think that Storm would be good and make Templar into Archons afterwards. But now here comes the Archon, and let's see how much damage it can buffer. The Zealots are coming in from both angles, that's pretty cool. And now the Archon's coming to grips with the enemy as well, killing probes in the middle of a battle. That's not the best, but still can buffer a lot of damage. And although it's going to die, and now we've got a Dark Templar, but there is an Observer overhead, so that's better to have that out of the way. Locutus has got this third up and running, no cannons still, the main is mining out, and now it's basically 3 versus 2 bases. That's good. If you've got the micro advantage that Locutus has, it may be workable, but Purple Wave is not to be deterred. More Archons rolling up, but these goons, they are really... but they can't, they've got to move back. There are too many Zealots. Upgrade-wise, Purple Wave is clearly ahead. Locutus hasn't had the economy to make units as well as upgrades, and is now even starting +1. That's really late. Purple Wave taking another base could shut this down, but the goons, they got some inhibition. They don't really want to, and they think it's more fun to clobber around with the enemy goons. And now Locutus being put on the back foot again. Oh, it's getting so late, I'm going to be too late with the upload, but this game is just too good. Purple Wave, every time Locutus is moving out, Purple Wave has got more forces. The army disparity is more than 2 to 1. Locutus is doing what it can, but with even the +1, it is so hard to fight such superior numbers. You've got to have another Archon dies. The high ground goons are doing so much damage, but the mining is still going on. The cannons are firing full blast, and only now are the cannons... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Purple Wave sticking its head in too deep again. Locutus coming back from the brink of death again, but here comes a Purple Wave again, and Purple Wave has got so much production. If you look at the production tab, it is about double, and make no mistake about it, Locutus is fighting for its life, and it's fighting like a tiger in a dark back alley. It is dishing out the damage. Its goons are killing so much stuff. The Dark Templar, but every time a couple of units get cut off. And Locutus is still standing with only 10 goons. The entire map is against him, and Purple Wave, had it shut down this base, this game would have been over. It would have been the map versus 1 base, but still it is just forcing its way through all these goons. And now the upgrades. There is +1 for Locutus, but now can Locutus hold? It is... The army disparity is 3 to 1 at this point. Another retreat and another couple of free kills for Locutus. Locutus, though, is being set on again. It just can't claim this part of the map for its own. And with the back to the wall, fighting again. The turrets, the cannons are coming into play again. But in the end, I think that Purple Wave will win this game. And maybe not right now, but at last, in the last instance, as this base is mining out. Upgrade-wise, no significant advantages, or this is a significant advantage, but you should just keep 3 forges spinning, build armor and shields as well. And now the might of Locutus is broken. It's 20 versus 80 army supply. The high ground is sort of safe again, but now here come the... Oh dear, here comes the heavy stuff, and these goons, they micro for what they are worth, and they are worth a hell of a lot, but versus this kind of superior force, it's just no fun. So this was this week's broadcast. We'll be watching what the ELO ranking is going to be like. Crazio within a hair's breadth of Locutus. I thank everyone for watching. Hope to see you again next week. Coders, keep coding. Recommenders, keep recommending me games. It's been awesome again. For now, goodbye and till next week.